Hi, I'm Nina and this is Intrinsic. This is part 3 of what's on my iPad, and today we're talking about language arts apps. We have a few apps that are just for reading ebooks. We have Books, Kindle, and Libby. They all have their pros. Books, the Apple one, is the easiest for my brain to read on. If you have children that are dyslexic, maybe they have the same preferences as me. The gray background with the white letters is the easiest for me to read. And also, iBooks, or Books, I think is what it's called now, allows you to scroll instead of just flipping pages. And my eyes have a hard time tracking, and so that is a little bit easier for me. So if you have any kiddos that have tracking issues, if you have the option of buying the books from different places, that might be the one that you go to. A quick tip if you're interested in reading classics is to click on the bookstore and type in public domain. These titles, copyright has expired, and so they are free to download. A couple of my favorites are The Secret Garden and A Little Princess. I do buy a lot of books on Kindle because I have Amazon Prime, and a lot of times if you don't need something right away, you can click for digital rewards, and I'm able to use those to buy books. So I use that. It's not as easy for my eyes, but it works. And the other thing with Kindle is if you have Prime, there are a lot of books that you can download, I think only like 5 or so at a time, and then you can return them, but you can have them as long as you want. In the app, you can search Prime Reading for those. The ebook app that I use the most is Libby. Libby connects to your library, and I download audiobooks and ebooks and picture books. It has so much. We especially love it when we're going on vacation. We can check out a bunch of books on there and not have to bring as many physical books on vacation with us.
Kindle and Libby are good apps because they have books I really like. So Libby is the library app that we use.
A lot of people use Audible. I haven't gotten into that yet just because there's so much through my library. I know that there are some books that I like that are not offered through the library, and so maybe when I've gone through all of the library books, I will start doing Audible. Another one that reads books is Khan Academy Kids, which I mentioned in our first iPad video. If you haven't seen that, you may want to check that out. Librivox is an app that has free domain audiobooks. Sometimes there's more than one recording for a book, and so you can kind of switch through and see which reader you like listening to the most. I also want to mention Teach Your Monster to Read. If you're at that phase, that's a great one. It's not on our iPad anymore, but definitely one to check out if you are wanting your kids to pick up on phonics. Scribblenauts is a favorite, and we have already done an in-depth review you can check out. My daughter's fine motor skills were something that she really had to focus hard on, and we looked at a lot of different handwriting apps, and Handwriting Heroes was by far my favorite. The first thing that I love about it is that it's engaging, and they have these cute little stories that go along with how to form each of the letters.
You surfs down under the wave and up, then falls upside down.
I sometimes still hear my daughter, as she's forming letters, saying these little stories of how to write the letter. One thing that I love about this is that it is teaching the lowercase letters. Most people start with uppercase, or they do them both at the same time, but 90% of what you're writing is lowercase, and 90% of what you're reading is lowercase. So teach them those lowercase letters first, and they will be a lot more fluent.
I don't really like drawing lowercase letters. It's that much. I like the uppercase letters.
You probably already know what Mad Libs are. You have to say nouns and places and fill in those blanks, and then it generates a story with the words you've done. Words is another Osmo game. This is a fun one. My daughter doesn't like things that are timed. She gets a little bit anxious, so we do play this as a team when we play, and it makes it a lot easier for her to feel less under pressure. We use GoodNotes a lot when we're doing Life of Fred, especially at first, because writing on paper was hard for her. She held that pencil super tight, and she would do it really intense, and it was hard for her to erase when she made a mistake. So having it on the iPad, she's able to, if she doesn't like the way it looks, just push undo. I like that I can import, whether I'm taking a picture or a worksheet from online, a PDF, and she can use the Apple Pencil to trace that. Here was an example where She was struggling with her 5, so she asked for help to form her 5. So we quickly got online, found a worksheet for 5s, and she was able to trace it. The Apple Pencil is expensive, but we really like it. You can rest your hand and write with proper pencil grip when you use the Apple Pencil. We have Simple English Dictionary, and that is really great. She can look up any words. Usually it's more for vocabulary than spelling. She's a pretty good speller. Any drawing apps I have in my language arts, because that was actually needed more focus than reading for us. We do have a couple of apps that are not writing or spelling, but more of that storytelling, which is another skill that we focused on. In fact, one year for our distant learning, we did a digital storytelling as a class, and so Superhero HD and Puppet Pals, which will be in a later one, that for some reason is in my tech category. Those are great. And then we have a few books that we have had on there. If you're interested in more apps that we use for our homeschool, check out our iPad playlist. And if you're interested in all the other resources we use, books, games, videos, YouTube channels, go ahead and check out my spreadsheet.
If you found this video helpful, subscribe to Intrinsic, because meaningful learning is driven by desire from within.
The passions within me, 'cause I'm intrinsic.